much. Pray be seated. What an honor to take the podium after a great men and women of this republic and abroad. We have just been welcomed by the able minister, Ma Kering. We have heard words of wisdom from our elder here. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you. I'm given another piece of paper, but as you would have experienced, we have got so many respectable and honored and honorable members here amongst us, business people of note. So I may not appreciate in terms of salutation all of you, but I really appreciate all of you. Your presence here means a lot to this country and the world. You have come here knowing very well what you are coming here for. And just before I start my speech, let me recognize a few of you amongst the great. As you know, biblically, many are called, but few are chosen. So don't complain. Let me recognize, first and foremost, our minister, Mayor Magering. Let me recognize amongst us here, we have the chairman of ITIC and former Secretary General, United Nations World Tourism Organization, Dr. Talib Rifai. We have amongst us here the founding director of Oxford Martin School, former vice president of the World Bank, Professor Ian Golden. We have amongst us here World Travel and Tourism Council, Ambassador, former chairman of the Visit Britain, chairman of London Authority and Martin, and Coast Guard Agency, Mr. Christopher Rodriguez. We also have amongst us our permanent secretary, of course. We also have Director of International Tourism Investment Conference, Mr. Paul Hoskins, Chief Executive Officer of Ras Al Khaimah Tourism Development Authority, His Excellency Raki Phillips, Executive Chairman, Tourism Board, Mr. Cuthbert Ncube. We also have amongst us here the Chief Executive Officer, Africa Tourism Partners, Mr. Kwayi Donker. Member of Diplomatic Corps, present here, permanent secretaries and DPS, their deputies of various ministries, board members, Botswana Tourism Organization. Some, of course, I understand will be joining us visually. Let me also recognize the presence of our mayor, the worship, who is the mayor of this great town, the city of Gaborone. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all recognized. Please, let's put our hands together for having been able to make it to this conference for yourselves. When the pictures were shown here, you'll remember there were two big trees which were very close to each other, yet apart from each other. And there was a road that passes through that. I think is a memory that we live with. That place is a place where I'm coming from. Like the chairman has said, that is a place where it has been recently discovered that around the Makgadikgadi, the great Makgadikgadi, that's where the origin of man started. Man started there. We all originate from that place. So you were not too far from the truth, Chairman, when you indicated that we all come from Africa. So let's all pride ourselves that we are here back to our place of origin. And indeed, it's a blessing for you to have been to your place of origin before you meet your Creator. So it's a great experience and a unique one for all those who are coming from outside Botswana. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, let me, on behalf of the warm, hearty, and hospitable people of this republic, this beautiful republic, I welcome you all to the Republic of Botswana once more, as we've been rightly welcomed by none other than the Minister of Tourism, Memagiri. Thanks to our Ministry of Environment and Tourism, through the lead entity, the Botswana Tourism Organization, BTO, in partnership with the International Tourism Investment Conference, for putting together this summit. The holding of this summit could not have come at a more opportune time in the history of Botswana's economic development, when we are vigorously rolling out the initiatives and plans for making Botswana a meetings, incentives, conference, and exhibitions, MICE for short, making it the hub of MICE in the Southern African region within the broader context of transitioning into a high-income economy by 2036. That is our aspiration, that is the national aspiration, that is the national vision. And we are on the road to that, very much on the road to that. Like in most economies of the world, the government of Botswana recognizes the value that tourism can induce in the local economy as a stimulant of economic growth, job creation, and generation of foreign exchange. Revenue accruing from the sector was approximately $550 million last year. This represents 26% of the country's total exports. And as we envisage to be an export-led economy, I think we will prevail. Quite evidently, the tourism sector constitutes a viable integral part of Botswana's export trade. It is significantly instrumental in alleviating the foreign exchange bottleneck suffered in most developing countries, especially during COVID-19. The rationale behind convening this summit was precisely to achieve the objective of attracting foreign direct investment, specifically into our viable, vibrant tourism sector. The revised Botswana Tourism Policy of 2021 recognizes the fact that although the country is endowed with rare, unique, and pristine natural resources, tourism development is yet to optimize the industry's potential. The policy identifies several opportunities that can be harnessed to further strengthen the country's tourism potential. Included among these opportunities are the provision of varied product range and diversity, as well as provision of infrastructure. These are singled out as major and necessary additions for tourism industry growth. If you like, these are part of the value chains of tourism. A well-diversified, integrated, and intensified tourism product can enrich total visitor experience, as you will soon witness. Construed in this manner, product diversification is both a strategy as well as a precondition for sustainable tourism industry development. It incubates the latent industry potential to unleash sustainable destination competitiveness. Botswana government encourages new investments and joint ventures in the tourism space, and all our visitors, the doors are open for you. You are pretty much invited to join this lucrative sector. You must set up here. You must leave this place as ambassadors to our tourism development as part of this package. Ladies and gentlemen, to this effect, government says, or plays rather, an expeditious role in facilitating development of tourism projects as part of its economic diversification drive. This is espoused in the country's blueprint, the Vision 2036, as the country aspires to elevate to a higher income economy, as I indicated earlier. In addition, tourism has the potential to stimulate infrastructure development at destination countries. This includes, amongst others, construction of new hotels, transportation systems and services, together with touristic-related amenities. Not only does this increase job creation, but it also attracts new businesses, startups, investors, and entrepreneurs. The resultant interaction effect of all these activities is some massive contribution to the economic growth of this host country. The crafted theme of this conference, as you might have recognized, or it has been already enunciated, the essence of which and the core purpose of gathering, namely accelerating investments towards sustainable product diversification. So when you talk about our tourism here, the emphasis will be in the product diversification. And please take this opportunity to be part of that. While exploring some possible viable areas of new product development, we also ought to diligently pay attention to issues of sustainability. As we are all aware, one of our pillars is sustainable development on our roadmap to our Vision 2036. Sustainability is arguably the most extensively used concept in modern-day economic development literature. This owes to the fact that the world is facing some unprecedented environmental and economic challenges posed by climate change. In its Sustainable Development Goals report, the United Nations has set targets to formulate and implement policies to promote sustainable tourism by 2030. In the context of tourism development, sustainability refers to practices that support long-term economic growth without negatively impacting the social, environmental, and cultural aspects of communities. As a result, there has been a growing awareness of the need to transform the tourism sector into a more sustainable and responsible industry over the recent years. I must advise that for us to realize this transformation, much stronger public-private partnerships are needed through more and better targeted investment financing to rebuild the industry in a sustainable and inclusive manner. This is one sector that was hard hit during the COVID era. You all are aware. You could not travel. So much as you could not travel, the tourism sector suffered a lot. And thanks to the minister and the government of Botswana that we sustained that industry. Many people could have lost jobs during that time, but we were able to sustain that tourism sector until it is revived. I am informed that the distinctive and definitive characteristic common to the audience assembled here is that it comprises some prudent prospective investors from the global community seeking out investment destinations for their capital. If I got that right from the minister, it means that we have in or amongst us some judicious businessmen and women who are courteous, exercise considerable restraint, and are guided by sound practical wisdom and discretion. And I hope they are going to set up here, Minister. I hope I'm not misrepresenting you, Minister, our distinguished delegates from around the globe. Furthermore, we have invited our very own like-minded, homegrown local entrepreneurs. The definitive feature of this group is that it is immensely robust and possesses the requisite qualities of focus and energy, specifically mental and physical agility. Entrepreneurship requires tremendous ability to preserve in an intensely competitive business environment while continually striving to evolve new and innovative business models and solutions. And our take-home is RHNJ, mindset change, as part of our priorities. I'm also informed that the ultimate goal for the two groups is the conclusion of some innovative business deals that shall subsequently pave way for the formation of enduring smart investment partnerships and joint ventures. We like joint ventures much. This is our expected top of the mind, actionable outcome upon which the success of this summit shall be evaluated. Quite ordinarily, being the astute business persons that you definitely are, and in possession of such a wealth of business acumen, you would think deep and hard before plowing your precious investment funds in any country. But I can assure you, you will have planted the seed that tomorrow you will harvest the crop. We have very good policies. If at any time that you would want to relocate your process, you are free to do so without boundaries, without restraints. So please feel free to come and invest in this lovely country. I'm positive that you will find Botswana your perfect home for investment because of the well thought out and crafted business environment and intentional facilitation for setting up of business by various arms of government responsible for investment in their different roles. In order to expedite the creation of a conducive environment to attract foreign direct investment, the government of Botswana has established the systems to assist foreign investors, both foreign and domestic investors, are afforded access to well-researched information on packaged investment opportunities, certification, tax relief, training grants, and investment incentives. They are all available to you. To our local investors seeking partnerships, you have a well set out foundation that will support you through the likes of the Citizen Entrepreneurial Development Agency, which is a financing agency, a partner with government. The Botswana Investment and Trade Center, Botswana Development Corporation, Special Economic Zone Authority, and others, who together with the Botswana Tourism Organization will walk you on a journey to economic success. Let us work hard to ensure we build the tourism industry we all aspire to have. Ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome to partner with us in building and even more prosperous, equitable, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth by investing in Botswana's tourism industry. We can achieve this together by optimally exploiting our core values of openness, transparency, and the rule of law. Feel comfortable. Let me invite you to take time off to visit Botswana's beautiful tourism attractions such as the Gaborone Environs and its surroundings of Okavango, Chobe, Tuli, Makgadikgadi, and the Kalahari beautiful landscapes. I trust you'll have a chance to taste our beef, which is compared to none in the world, and buy our crafts to take your good Botswana memories back home. I thank you for listening, and I wish you a very fruitful and productive day. And I think you will all benefit if you decide now that you are going to invest in Botswana. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is, of course, the Vice President of the Republic of Botswana, Slamba Tsogwane. His tight schedule is such that very shortly he shall now be departing from this facility to continue with the rest of his esteemed schedule. You will notice as he fares his esteemed guests goodbye that the front row of the VIP section will be faring him goodbye as well. That is to say that they'll be making their way briefly out of this conference room and will be joining us shortly once our Vice President has taken to his vehicle. Photographers, my dear friends, with the cameras in their hands, this is a good moment for you to position yourself to catch that group photo as our Vice President's delegation makes its way to his vehicle. Thanks for your kind attention. Well, this is fantastic. I've just received word that the good Vice President has given us a little bit of an extra moment of his time. I may suspect it is because of what is about to take place right now on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure indeed to welcome my good friends from the Mophato Dance Theatre, an unbelievably explosive celebration of our beautiful culture. I'll say no further. Experience them for yourself. You and I are still together until lunchtime. Thank you so much for your kind attention so far. Mophato Dance Theatre, the stage and the audience are yours. That is the magical sounds of Mophato Dance Theatre. Rest assured, they just got started and will be performing for you very, very shortly. We just wanted to make sure that we bless the stage before Paul takes the stage to give us our vote of thanks. You see, we have received you so well culturally, Paul, that we are treating you the way we treat kings and queens of our continent. We have to have an explosive performance before you speak to the nations. Ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the vote of thanks, Paul Hoskins, Director of ITIC Limited and Invest Tourism Limited. Such a pleasure to receive you in Botswana, Re.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to offer a vote of thanks to His Honour Vice President Slumber Sohangwane. And it's a great privilege on behalf of ITIC, International Tourism Investment Conference, to thank him for his presence here today and for opening this first Botswana Tourism Investment Summit. As the Honourable Minister Kareng mentioned in her opening remarks, the idea for this summit was born in the later part of 2021. And now that that seed of an idea has germinated after much planning and deliberation, here it is realized. And it's a privilege for us to be here to work with the Botswana Tourism Organization and thanking His Excellency for his presence today in opening our investment summit towards sustainable tourism investment and product diversification. Ladies and gentlemen, although His Excellency has left the room, please join me in thanking him for his presence today. Thank you.
Mr. Hoskins, thank you so much, Motsadi Wame. It's a good thing that the sound is of excellent quality. I do believe that as the Vice President and his delegation were making their way swiftly out for his engagements, he certainly received every single beautiful word. We also do have, of course, media houses that are present with us, documenting every moment so that we can reflect on it a little bit later. Well, just in case you're wondering about the action outside, what's taking place right now is that most of our VIP delegations seated closest to the stage have gone to farewell our Vice President and capturing a moment for a two. I'd like to take this opportunity then to welcome some more entertainment. I did promise Mophato Dance Theatre will be back shortly. However, right now, standing by to blaze the stage as well is some entertainment by Mabutswapele Dance Group. Do enjoy them. And shortly after that, we continue with the program. This time, a fireside chat with Batani Walter Matekane and Professor Ian Golden. I'll tell you a bit more about about that on the other side of this performance. Thank you for your kind attention. If Botswana hospitality had a sound to it, that certainly will be it. Thank you so much, Mabutsa Pele. Yeah, I think they'll appreciate that round of applause, eh? I really, really think they will. Well, we're almost drawing towards the end of this first program, of this first segment or first day of this incredible summit. And what I can tell you is very, very shortly, you will be invited to exit from the same entry point that you used this morning and kindly spend some time with the exhibitors that I have prepared for you so beautifully. They'd love for you to take a piece of their arts and crafts home, their products, or just to appreciate and admire and potentially invest. Well, if you've just joined us and you're watching us from any platform, what I can tell you is there should be a flame behind me. Well, there was a flame earlier on, and I'm sure you saw it, and that is because it is now time for the fireside chat with Batani Walter Matekane, Director Macroeconomic Policy, Ministry of Finance, and of course he will be partnering through this fireside chat with Professor Ian Golden, Oxford University Professor of Globalization and Development and the founding director of the Oxford Martin School and former Vice President of the World Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, do join me in receiving Ian and Batani on stage. And shortly after Ian and Batani takes us through this fireside chat, we'll be getting into the tour of the exhibitions and a networking break. I'll tell you a bit more about it a little bit later. Ian, Batani, over to you.
Good morning. It's a huge pleasure to be here, to be back in Botswana, this marvelous country. I first came here in 1975. There was barely 80 kilometers of roads in that time, a very different place, one of the poorer countries in Africa, now one of the richest. And I had the great pleasure when I was Chief Executive of the Development Bank of Southern Africa and Economic Advisor to President Mandela to come here many times. And I think to be the biggest investor in Botswana with investments in the North-South Water Carrier and the paving of many roads and other investments. So as an investor in Botswana, let me reiterate what the Vice President has said. There has never been a better country and a better time to invest. And I encourage all of the participants that are thinking of investing in pursuing that agenda. This is an incredible country, and as Vice President of the World Bank, as head of policy for the World Bank Group, I saw how it was able to excel when so many others in the world were floundering. And that continues to be the case in the recovery from the pandemic and in a very difficult economic and geopolitical environment. Now in Oxford, I have the privilege as an academic to see things impartially, and it's the same that I see as I travel around the world. Walter, you are the head of macroeconomic policy for the Ministry of Finance. You sit in the kitchen. You are responsible for the extraordinary successes, together with your ministers and team, in making sure that this is a well-managed economy. Could you tell us something about the economic prospects over the coming years for Botswana and why you think Botswana has managed to be such a shining example of good macroeconomic policy?
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Prof. And it's always good to chat with the best in the industry. And I'm excited by this great opportunity of a room that is full of people who have a heart for this country or who are interested in knowing about this great republic. First of all, I always want to recommend a very good book written by Professor Clark Cliff, Why Botswana Prospered. It summarizes the success story from independence, and we are here to try to continue the legacy that this country has maintained and has jealously guarded. And the economic prospects, as you see, we aspire to be a high-income country by 2036. We believe it is possible. We believe we can reach there. Not only because in terms of numbers, that should we grow by a certain percentage or pace would reach, but we are doing all that is necessary to reach there. And as a country, we have put a lot of energy and a lot of specific focus without leaving the sound macroeconomic policies, sustainability, without leaving the good governance of our mineral resources. There's been a huge shift of trying to put a specific attention towards non-mining sectors, specifically the agricultural sector, specifically the tourism sector, which has a huge potential that is unexploited. Because you said it, let me just start the story with the numbers. Just this year alone, and when you look at the quarterly analysis of our performance, the economy on average, the first half, it grew by 3.4% on average, slightly above the global growth of 3%, you know, which is an outlook which is actually more bleaker than this year. And for us as a nation, before COVID, we thought if we are to reach the high income status by 2036, we have to grow by an average growth rate of between 5.8 and 6%. And this number cannot just be a magic number that has to happen. It has to be supported by a deliberate focus and investment towards the non-mining sectors, which are key in diversifying this economy or bringing the necessary growth. And if you look at agriculture, the huge potential that is naturally unexploited. If we do things right, you'll immediately deal with the employment issues, you'll immediately deal with the necessary value chains that are needed across you'll immediately deal with the food security. So if you look at the tourism space, the policy, just like it was mentioned by His Honor the Vice President and my minister, you'd see that there's been a deliberate positioning by the country to try to say, if we do things right in these particular spaces, we'll reach the necessary high income status that we so desire as a country. But we are cognizant of the fact that we're not alone in pursuit of the next status. And everybody is doing the right things wherever they are. But as a country, we are well known, not only for managing the economy very well, but if you look across Africa, just to give you a feel, when you compare us with our peers, first, when you talk investment, investors will check your credit rating status. And we are the best in Africa, not only sub-Saharan, I think. We are the only country with an investment grade in Africa. That's why all investors must have Botswana at the highest consideration tables when they think of investment, because you are short, not only supported by the large foreign reserves that we have the strong fiscal metrics that are in place, we have a stable political environment, we do have a well-designed macroeconomic framework. That's why I'm sitting here to try to continue the legacy and jealously guard these sound macroeconomic policies that my predecessors so protected. We remain the highest sovereign in Africa, like I said, and this is underpinned by our strong conservative fiscal position, our low government debt.
Is there a roving mic, maybe?
You have a roving mic. Thank you, Prof, for that technical glitch. It's happened to allow me to also think deeper. And having spoken about these strong fiscal metrics that we saw maintained as a country, In order to maintain the 5% growth that we maintained in the last decade, like you said, in order to sustain the momentum, we need to do things right. We need to continue doing them right, and not only in terms of hosting international summits like this, but we also need to continue to maintain strong economic growth within the country. It cannot only survive because we had strong performance of the mineral sector. As you know, we are highly dependent on the mineral sector, but we really want to shift the entire focus on the other 9 main sectors that I saw mentioned, like I mentioned, agriculture and the rest. We not only aspire in terms of reaching the status, but we want to do the right things to reach there. And the public sector-led growth, that was mainly also anchored on Diamond's rents. We see it's showing signs of exhaustion and threats and risks. We are fully aware, and the world is watching, and they are also aware. We are basically saying we are aware of the vulnerability towards the financial climate and health shocks that may arise from somewhere. We monitor those carefully, and try to position ourselves should anything happen. And as a middle-income country that is trapped within a band that is defined by numbers by the World Bank Group, we believe our emphasis should reach an ordinary citizen and try to do some meaningful contribution right from the citizens, and try to create the necessary environment for our citizens to participate in the economy, and also to allow the private sector to pick the public-led model that has kept us going and grow. And not only grow, but also to grow to an extent that it can also be exported as well to the rest of the world. And we believe as a small population, there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity for the country, and the momentum can be maintained. And the government agenda to diversify our export base and promote the non-diamond growth that we so desire is what we believe, and will continue to be supported. And we'll continue to accelerate the agenda, of course, through meaningful participation of the other sectors that have been playing a significant role. If you look at the numbers in your program, and I'm happy that my core ministry, they've done a wonderful job in the program and put together all the summary of the things that I'm going to mention. In there, you see the numbers of contribution to GDP in the program that was shared with you. You see these are double digits. These are double digits. It's 12.4%. So this is a number that if it's lifted to 15% to 20%, the sector can contribute more. And this cannot happen without the necessary investment of the key stakeholders that are in this room. And if they do engage us further and take advantage of the list of intense incentives that we've listed in the program that you're holding, you will see that you will not only contribute to this small economy of Botswana, you will also be able to take back all your profits and also plow them elsewhere in the world, where the world can be enhanced even further. And we have a very good necessary regulatory space, which is very conducive for business, which is a very good enabling environment. You heard His Honor, the Vice President, mentioning that our true north basically is sustainable economic development. That's where we are focusing all our energy and allowing all these other pillars to support this sustainable economic development.
As an outside observer, I can certainly vouch for the strength of the regulatory and fiscal and monetary policy environment here. What particular incentives do you have for investors to encourage them to come? Obviously, they're looking at many locations. Yeah. What's special, and how do you incentivize them? And I'm afraid we only have a couple of minutes. They should follow up with you afterwards if they want to dive in.
They should. Thank you very much, Prof, for mentioning them. We do have a couple, many. And the experts are in this room that are ready to engage you. When you talk about the investment incentives, no restrictions on business ownership, duty rebate on raw material imported, duty rebate on importation of machinery, You've got a 10-year negotiable tax holiday up to a maximum. You've got a deductible training rebate of 200%. 200%. No foreign exchange controls, like I mentioned. Remittance and full repatriation of profits and dividends. These are just on the investment landscape. When you talk about, we've got the international finance, the FSC accredited companies, of course, who have a double taxation avoidance arrangement on treaties, denomination of share capital in major convertible currency, exemption from capital gains, just to mention a few. When you look at the specific regions, like mostly special economic zones and targeted regions, for example, the SPEDO region has got you can't get this anywhere in the world. You've got a 5% corporate tax in the SPEDO region for the first 5 years. Thereafter, we promise you we'll give you 10%. You cannot even get anything less than 20% in the world. So you can tell really 5% corporate tax for the first 5 years, and then you've got 10% thereafter. Duty rebates on the raw material I spoke about, added tax under our schedules. We got this range of arrangements, and our revenue authority and our trade colleagues will also be ready to engage in this special. Then the special economic zones incentives as well, which are also duty-free imports of specialist plant and machinery. For example, if you want to set up in a tourism space there, we allow you duty-free importation of plant and machinery for manufacturing purposes, for your tourism entity or whatever. We got a waiver on transfer duty on land and property tax exemption for 5 years. We've got zero-rated value-added tax on raw material, just on this special economic, and there are many of them. You can start here in Gaborone, and we spread them across the country strategically to say, this one will focus in this area, this one will focus on this area. And they're also specified, and my SESA colleagues are here to engage with you further. You can just come see me after this or during the tea break to discuss further, or to refer you to the right people to discuss this number of new incentives that are available.
Great. Well, that's perfectly timed, because I'm sure you're going to have many people coming up to you and your colleagues during the coffee break, which we're about to have. Yes. Incredible country. For those of you that don't know it, I encourage you not only to invest, but also to visit. I spent a month traveling through the Kalahari, Makgadikgadi, which is where the Vice President is from, to Baines Baobab, Okavango, Moremi, Chobe, and everywhere. A most extraordinary country and a most extraordinary people. So time to get to business. Thank you very much, Walter, for your time. And thanks to all of you. And Giselle, our wonderful moderator, will lead us in.
Thank you, Prof, for the chat. Thank you.